Well, hello everybody. It's that time of year again. I'm JayLeonardJ, and it's the end of the year. And at the end of the year, I do an annual thing on the page where I talk about what I did during the year, kind of my adventures of surviving the year. And then at the end of the video, I always talk about the gear. This is a gear page. I play a lot of different guitars and amps and pedals and all kinds of stuff. What are the little pieces of gear that really kind of found a spot in my heart? So I'm looking forward to keeping this tradition going. Now, if you don't really care about what I do on a day-to-day basis and what my year was like, you can definitely skip ahead to the my favorite gear part. So I will put little chapters in the description so you can just skip right ahead. But for those of you that are interested a little bit in my life, this is what I did. So 2021 was a very interesting, unique year for me. I guess for everybody, really. It was the first year, I think, since high school. Probably the first year since high school where I didn't travel anywhere for work. I didn't leave this province. I'm in Canada. We have provinces, not states like in the States. But yeah, I stayed in, pretty much the BC the entire 2021, which is very, very new to me. No trips on the road, no flights to some country to play, and no this, even in last year, I still was able to travel in, the beginning of part of the year. We went to Dominican and we went to NAM and all that stuff right before they shut down the world, I guess. But this year, not so much. So definitely a different scope. The whole Jay on the road thing did not happen in 2021, but there was a lot of really cool things. One thing that was really different that I did this year that I typically don't do as much in previous years is I started doing some video stuff for other brands. So I usually made all my videos for this page and for my subscribers and everything. And occasionally I'd do little guest appearances on some of my friends' pages or be part of different forums and everything. But this year I started actually making launch videos for particular brands, and maybe my face is behind the camera so you didn't quite know it was me. So if you've seen some of the pedals that J.M.A. released this year on their official product launches, they did the Tyler and the what was the name of the other one? The Guardian of the Worm. That was me. That was actually doing it. Catlin Bread reached out and I started doing, I guess they were trying to relaunch their series of Foundation Overdrives and kind of revamp their YouTube presence a little bit. So I was doing some contract work for Catlin Bread, which has been really, really wonderful. That's a really, really nice group that took over that company, and they're really doing some really nice stuff, and they're really, really wonderful people to work with. If you are curious, I did do most of all of their Foundation Overdrives, and if any of you are wondering what Foundation Overdrive is the best, I have a personal one. My personal favorite of all the Catlin Bread Foundation Overdrives actually is the Raw. This is the Led Zeppelin, high watt style one. I don't know why, but every time I plug that one in, I get really excited. And if I'm ever looking for that kind of 70s overdrive sound, amp in a box kind of pedal, I think the Raw is the one to go for. So that's my little thing. That's my point of view. I also was doing some stuff for Boss. So I have done work for Boss before in the past. I did their release for the RC10R in the UK, which was probably one of the most fun things I ever did. But they recently released their revamped Street Cube, and I actually produced the whole track and did all the instruments except for the ending guitar solo and obviously the female vocals. It was really, really fun to put that together, and it really turned out great. The other thing was with Guitar World. I've been working with Guitar World a little bit and doing some of the content for their site. So if you watch the Guitar World stuff and they're doing certain product videos, you probably will see my mug just sitting around there. So definitely so the trend, I guess, is really expanding the content a little outside of the world and maybe doing a little bit more behind the camera kind of stuff. Another really fun thing that happened this year was some collaborations with Guitar Magazine, which was really fun. I even have them right over here. I did a little feature for them about my career, and it was really, really cool to be in a magazine and, you know, see your face in a magazine and read yourself. It was really humbling and really cool. It was a wonderful experience. And I even did another one with them, which was on how to be a modern guitarist. They did I guess they got a bunch of different, you know, YouTubers and guitar players and different people in the industry and talked about kind of the future of the instrument and our points of views on things and where we thought things were going. And that was really interesting, especially reading it after the fact. And, you know, I have a lot of friends that I saw in the article as well that was part of it, and seeing what their point of view was on a lot of the same issues. It was a really, really fun read. So really, really wonderful for Guitar Magazine to get that done. Now, in terms of the studio, again, you know, there is studio stuff was going, which was really, really nice. Two highlights for me. I think one was a film that I played guitar on called Bisping. It was about what do you call it? Michael Bisping, the UFC fighter. They made a documentary on his life, and Daryl Bennett was he did the score for it. And I was the guitar player for it, and he brought me in. And I always love working with Daryl. We do a lot of soundtracks and stuff together. And we were very lucky to win the Leo Award for Best Musical Score. And the Leo Award's kind of like the film awards in Vancouver kind of thing. So it was a really wonderful honor. It was really nice. And obviously, Daryl definitely deserved it. He just really does some wonderful stuff, and the movie just turned out really fantastic. My buddy, we have a song out there for Mike's Hard Seltzer, you know, like Mike's Hard Lemonade. We got a commercial out for Mike's Hard, and a couple little, you know, big recording projects, little and big recording projects all over the place. One thing that was really interesting is this year is I opened up. I collaborated with Tone Specific, which is a company that makes a lot of the pickups that I use. I collaborated with them on a series of guitar pickups. So I have my Tele set and a Strat set and a Humbucker set and a Super Strat set. And actually, that's been a long time coming. We've been working on this project for a couple years. And this was the year where we finally released it. And it was something I was really tight-lipped about for so long. And I was so happy to see it come out. The Tele set is just really, really wonderful. And we did some really awesome things to it, little outside of the box. They're really pickup sets that have very unique characteristics that really lend itself well to what I do here on the page, which is play a lot of different styles. And I have a very kind of, I don't know, aggressive, percussive technique, and they all lend themselves really well to that kind of thing. This Tele set is just stunning, and the Strat set, it's unbelievable, especially solving a lot of the issues I have with Strats, you know, how I don't quite find the bridge pickup on a Strat to be that exciting compared to a Tele. I brought a little of that Tele magic into it. And the Humbucker set's really, really unique. I would kind of think of it more like a Filtertron thing than a humbucker kind of thing, but it's really, really cool. I'm really happy they went out. In terms of live music, definitely a lot quieter on the Western Front than it's been in different years, definitely. We were able to do a couple online shows, and the band has been able to do a lot of shows locally, just not touring, not going on the road, just everything kind of staying in the province. Luckily though, however, I was still able to play in the church every Sunday. I play in a church band, and it's a live broadcast, and that's where you can actually hear me play all the time. I got my little Friedman, and I play all my guitar stuff through a GT 1000. The big piece of live music that I did this year was taking part in a thing called Dolly Parton's Smoky Mountain Christmas Carol. Dolly Parton wrote like a musical based on A Christmas Carol. So there's like Scrooge and stuff, but it takes place in Tennessee in the 1930s. And so it's like, you know, kind of that, you know, acoustic, pre-country, pre-bluegrass kind of music. It's really, really fun. It was just a blast to be part of that professional musical theater down at the Stanley Theater. It was a musical, and the band got to be on stage. I actually made a video all about what it's like being in a live musical theater. So please check out that video. It really was so much fun. The cast was great. The crew was great. And it was a pretty solid run for us too. We started maybe mid-November in the theater, and it went all through December. We're supposed to end January 2nd, 3rd. It was 8 shows a week, so really condensed schedule, lots of hard work. And we made it to Christmas Eve, which was a little bit nerve-wracking because a lot of theaters in the world were kind of closing down as we were getting closer to Christmas Eve, but we were very lucky. We made the Christmas Eve show. It was a fantastic one too. We put a lot of love into it. And then when we went to check in on the 26th, we have to take like a little swab before we go to the theater. We had a little bit of an outbreak amongst the cast and crew. And one of the people that tested positive was me. I tested positive. I still am positive. In my little isolation chamber right over here, I just got the strength to film this video. Luckily, I was double vaccinated, so I guess I didn't really feel the symptoms as bad as I could have. So I was really, really lucky. But what ended up happening is because of the outbreak, they had to close down the show. We couldn't get that last week. We couldn't get that final bow, which was a bit of a heartbreaker. But at least we got the Christmas show, and I guess that's how the cookie crumbles. Regardless, it was an absolutely fantastic experience. So that was pretty much my year in a nutshell. So I guess let's talk about some gear. All right. So we're talking about gear now. It was really hard. Now, I usually do a thing like best guitar of the year and amp of the year and modulation and fuzz of the year. And this year, I thought, you know what? I wanted to come up with like 5 things. Like 5 things, didn't matter what it was, that really hit a chord in me. And that made me go, oh, I love playing guitar. I love doing this, and this is so much fun and stuff. And it was really hard to cut it down because there's some really great pieces of gear. So let's dig right into it. 5 things. Now, it's in no particular order except for the last one. The last one's my favorite pedal of the year, but these 4 are no particular order. So the first one that I really liked and that really got my imagination flowing is this. This is the Boss Tone Bender. This caused a little bit of a stir, a little controversial thing. So many different emotions and things around this pedal, and I have never ever been more excited about a pedal. I literally can't remember the last time I was this excited about a pedal than when they announced the Boss Tone Bender, because I thought it was just such a weird collaboration, but a perfect collaboration at the same time. You know, you have, Sola Sound collaborating with Boss, and Sola Sound being such a pivotal part in the history of music, and Boss, which is another thing. And it was almost funny because like when that whole Sola Sound, era ended, that's when the Boss kind of thing came around. But it was just, what's neat is Boss is always like perfection, you know what I mean? In terms of everything is, you play one Boss pedal, everyone's consistently made. They're built like a brick, and they're not temperamental, they're sturdy, they're reliable no matter what. And then they decide to make a tone bender, which is like, germanium transistors are not dependable. They're, you get a good batch, you get a bad batch, and they're very finicky and getting just the right, and there's 3 of them in this thing, and just getting that right balance together to make a really outstanding tone bender. And then for Boss, because that's the way they are, they don't just make, they want to make, 3,000 that sound exactly the same. They want that consistency, and to put on a product or a project like that, it just was, I don't know, it just struck me with so much excitement, because obviously I love fuzzes, I love tone benders, and the fact that Boss took on this project and they made it, and they made as many as they could, and I was very fortunate to get my hands on one from the wonderful, wonderful team at Roland and Boss. It was like a mixture of UK and Canada working together to make this happen. This pedal is really fantastic. You put this in the 12-volt setting. Oh, that's cool. See, I was expecting they had that 7-volt. You see that a lot, the sag setting. But the boost setting, the 12-volt tone bender Boss thing, oh, unbelievable. Really, really cool pedal. Something I'm never going to get rid of, something I'm always going to treasure. It is just such a wonderful piece of history and everything. What it represents alone is just enough to get I'm getting all choked up. Boss Tone Bender, one of my favorite pedals of the year. Here's another one. Now this one's a really interesting pedal. This is the Hologram Effects Microcosm. Now, this pedal is funny because actually if you watch the page, you'll realize I actually haven't made a video of this. Actually, I haven't made a video of this pedal either. I was planning on making a video on this pedal. I got this near the end of the year, and right when we were kind of figuring out what we wanted to do with the video, that's when the music theater thing started and all of that, and it was crazy. So a video of this is actually going to be coming out in the next couple weeks, but I definitely wanted to talk about this because this is such a cool, fun pedal. I am not an atmospheric guitar player. You know, I'm not really, I think of like the Pedal Zone. Oh, he's my favorite. I just love what he does with sound and stuff like that. Me, I don't experiment that way, the way he does. But gosh, this makes me do that. It's so easy to get lost in this pedal. It's a granular pedal, and it does, sampling, and it does pitch shifting, and it does looping, and it has different glitchy stuff and delay stuff and atmospheric stuff and shoegaze stuff, but then it could also get very, very rhythmic. You can create these like really cool synth sounds and stuff like that. I'm not an atmospheric guy, but man, it really makes me, and it makes me want to do it. I can get lost in this pedal, and I still don't fully understand this pedal. A lot of this pedal is turning knobs and just going, oh my God, what's going on here? It's so powerful and so inspiring, and it brings out a different character in my playing. And isn't that what's really neat about great gear? Sometimes a really wonderful piece of gear reveals something within you that you didn't know was there. And it takes something out of you that was maybe a muscle that's never been flexed before, and makes you kind of go, oh my gosh, wow, there's something that's in me, and I can create sounds, and that's what this pedal is. It's so inspiring, it's so fun, it's crazy, and it's beautiful, and it's heartwarming. It's just a wonderful, wonderful piece of equipment. I can't wait to make a video for this. I'm a little bit overwhelmed to make a video for this because I just don't even know how I can encompass everything here. So I definitely have to, in my mind, simplify it when I make this, when I finish up this video. But it is definitely a wonderful buy. That's the Microcosm over here. Really great pedal. So that's two. Now, number three pedal that I really, or it's not a pedal, it's actually this. This is the Harmony Comet. Now, there was a lot of really cool guitars that came by my way this year. There was I did a D'Angelico. They had the Bedford one, and that was a really, really cool guitar. They have what was that other? I bought a Martin. A folk nylon guitar, which was like the super long scale thing, and I love that guitar. But man, this thing is really seen a lot of play on the page because it has such a wonderful sound to it. It feels great, and it's really small. It's like a 339 thing. Now, it has these foil kind of pickups, but to me they kind of sound like humbuckers, to be completely honest. What really throws me is this little switch over here that gives me that Peter Green out of phase quacky tone, which, oh my gosh, when you have a semi-hollow body and you get that little out of phasey thing, oh, it just sounds so good. The guitar is absolutely gorgeous to look at, and it really has a wonderful sound to it. It's not a 335 by any stretch. It actually has a little bit more definition. It doesn't go it's a little tighter overall. I think it might have to do with the scale length or whatever is going on over here. But what really blows my mind is this is what, $14.99 US, and it's made in the US. And you try to find a guitar, with this, it's kind of like this, contoured carvy top and this build quality and this playability and this the way it fits in you when you play it. You find that made in America, $14.99. It was funny, I made a video on this. People are like, oh man, it's so expensive. It's like, dude, this is made in America, and it's a semi-hollow body. And I don't know where they're cheaping out. This is just such it's made where they make heritage guitars. So It's a wonderful piece of equipment and even has locking tuners on it. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. I do wish, you know, in my dream, I wish they would have like a big 335E sized one. I think they have the H, 72, I think is what they call it. They reissued that, and I'm curious to hear what that sounds like. But really wonderful guitar. It's really found its way into the studio. Every time I need that bluesy tone, that jazzy tone, that semi-hollow body tone, that wood feeling tone, this has been the guitar I've been grabbing. It's a really wonderful thing. Harmony comment. All right, so down to this one over here again. This is the, what do you call it? The penultimate pedal that we're talking about. And it's this one here. This is the Tyler Deluxe by J.M.A. And this is a really amazing pedal, because what this is it doesn't really make a sound. What it does is it makes opportunities. It's so versatile. There's 2 loops and they're in parallel with each other. And you can do so much with it. You can get, you know, 2 completely different chains. You can have one chain which is, you know, an octave sound. And then on the other side, you could have a delay, and all of a sudden you have this thing where you're playing and your main tone has a you know, octave on it, but your repeats and the delay is crystal clear. So you could blend different pedals together without it getting muddy and getting cluttered. You can get separation. You could really hear things. It separates. Or you could do stuff like using it as an amp switcher. Or you could use the thing as using it as you have your, you know, loop A for your pedal board and loop B for your pedal board. Or here's the one that really blows my mind. You can get something like a fuzz, which has great harmonics, but not a lot of definition down low, you know, or not a lot of tightness. Well, once you get the high end, you know, you get this, there's like a high pass filter. You get the high end of a fuzz, so you get all the harmonics and stuff, but then you get the firm low end of a distortion, and then you blend a little bit of your clean tone in it. And all of a sudden, you're creating completely new sounds. And what inspires, again, I was talking about pedals that inspire and bring out things in you. This will make you revisit your pedal collection. You see, this is not a thing to replace anything on your board. What this does is it gets the pedals you have on your board and makes you look at them in a completely different way. You can do all kinds of things, stacking your order around, making, getting certain aspects of pedals that you like, and finding a way to eliminate the things you don't like about it, and creating new sounds with the stuff that you have. Isn't that really cool? Isn't that what we want? We have stuff. We have so much great gear at home and great pedals at home. Let's find more opportunities to create magic with them, and that's what this pedal does. It's a really cool thing, especially for people with great pedal collections, especially for people that want to create sounds and experiment and explore the wonderful worlds, and think outside the box. Think outside of Tube Screamer, Blackface amp, or Fuzz Face Marshall. Just finding wonderful new avenues of expression. It's a wonderful unit, limited only by your imagination. Tyler Deluxe, really fantastic pedal. Oh my gosh, I'm like in the zone here. I'm ranting about all kinds of stuff. So before I talk about my favorite pedal of the year, I'm going to talk about the close but not quite. These are the ones that were so close to being in my top 5, but I just I had to make it a top 5, and I'll talk about them very briefly. One is the Radial HDI. This is a DI box, and it is really cool. It has a compressor in it, high pass filter, and it has this color knob, which this is like it's weird. It's like an active passive DI box. There's a transformer in it, and you could actually push it to get a little bit of saturation. Really great for bass players. I haven't met a bass player that doesn't love this thing. But for me, what I like to use is if you have like some digital sounding like pedals or amps, or like, you know, you're using a digital amp, or you're using IRs, or you're using an amp modeler, and you just want to bring a little bit of a imperfection, a little of that analog imperfection to it, just run it through this and just watch what happens. It really just brings, I don't know, just an earthiness to everything. Really great pedal. Radial HDI. This one is a really cool pedal too. This is the Greer Sure Shot Clipping Boost. It is a 1-knob pedal, and it's kind of like an overdrive, really. It is such a simple pedal, and it adds saturation and gain without taking away of the voice of your guitar in the amp. It's almost like it just sounds like your amp in a saturated, wonderful kind of context. This pedal was so fun that it actually kicked out the overdrive pedals that are in my YouTube demo board. So I actually don't have overdrive pedals on my YouTube demo board anymore. If I want an overdrive sound, I actually just use this. And that way I get more of that amp sound with a little bit more saturation and magic. Really great. Probably my favorite boost pedal of the year. The Empress compressor, I don't know what to say about it. It's the Empress compressor, only better. This is the Mark II. It has the readout. The tone is absolutely fantastic. It's so easy to get great sounds out of it. It's a nice neutral thing. It's not as colored as like the 1176 kind of thing, but it's not as sterile as like a VCA or something like that. So really, really beautiful. I love the improved LED readout. I love the sidechain high pass filter for bass players, and it's just really, really great. I love compressors, so you know I'm a sucker for this one. And the last one I'm going to talk about is the Pink Flow by Jam Pedals. Now, the reason why it didn't make my top 5 list, because it would, it's because this is an older pedal. I did get this in 2021, but it wasn't from 2021, so I decided not to put it on the list. Awesome. Well-curated collection of pedals. It's more than Pink Floyd. It gets all kinds of sounds. You could actually use this as your main board for your gig and not be wanting for anything else. Just bring a tuner and you have a whole rig that you're ready to go with. Just an absolutely fantastic thing. And last but not least, that brings me to the very last thing, and that is my favorite pedal of the year. Where is it? Oh no, did I lose it? Here it is. This is the second year in a row where I chose a fuzz to be my favorite pedal of the year. And yes, I have 2 fuzz pedals in my list, my top 5 list, but you know, that's just me. I like fuzz pedals, right? It's the Benson Germanium Fuzz. And this one is really, really cool because everyone, you have like a germanium fuzz face, right? And we love that sound and we love what it does, but it has so many limitations. And you know, we've found ways to tweak circuits to work our way around it, but Benson did a really interesting thing. The germanium transistors, they're temperature sensitive, so they like to be in a very specific temperature. And this thing has a heater, and what it does is it senses the overall heat, and it just heats up those transistors, those germanium transistors, to the optimal place to make sure it just sounds unbelievable. And it sounds unbelievable. You could use it with a buffer. So actually in the video I did for it, I used a wireless unit, and it just works really, really well. It's really quiet for a fuzz face. It has a lot of gain. It has so many wonderful sounds. It's not quite as unwieldy as a standard fuzz face. It's a little bit more refined, but when I think about refined, I think it's very modern. And I love it because it's just this wonderful blend of the old and the new. You got the idea of a germanium fuzz face, probably it's the IPA beer of like circuits, you know what I mean? Bare bones simplicity. And then he gets all this modern stuff and mixes it in together to create something, you know, so familiar, yet so completely modern and new. And it's absolutely exceptional. It's exceptional. I use this is the fuzz that I use in my YouTube pedal board because I can put it anywhere in the chain and it sounds unbelievable. It is one of the most fun, useful pedals. It's like so simple, and I keep finding places to put it in. It sounds great as an overdrive too, and it just sounds great as a fuzz, and it's just so the concept and the thought process and making it work outside the box. It's just a wonderful, wonderful piece of equipment. I actually got this before, I got it in 2020, and it was actually going to be my favorite pedal of 2020. The Geiges fuzz was my favorite pedal of 2020, but it's because they didn't release it until 2021, this pedal until 2021. So I actually had to hold on to it. So it actually was my favorite pedal of 2020 and 2021. It means that much to me. It is definitely one of those pedals that's really, really close to my heart. I absolutely love this thing. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. Anything that Chris Benson usually touches is gold. He has such great ears and wonderful way of looking at things, and I think it's just a wonderful blend of everything I love about gear, being a gear collector, being a gear player, playing with pedals, and I play with so many of them. This one's very special, and that pretty much brings me to the end of this video. Before I go, what I want to do is I just want to do a quick shout out to all my Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your relentless support, and thank you so much for supporting this page during some really crazy year. And the fact that you stuck around and you supported the page, it really means so much. It means so much to the quality of what I'm doing over here, and it gives me the inspiration to keep making videos for you, and to keep doing this, and to keep sharing my knowledge with all of you. Really, every single person out there, and I don't want to, I write the names in the description. It means so much to me, and the fact that you write to me and you do the direct messages on Patreon, all your gear, and I get to follow the gear that you have and what you're looking for, and help you come up with your decisions. And sometimes you pick the decision that you take the path that I say, and sometimes you might take a different path, but I always feel like I'm part of that collaborative thing to help you find your sound and help you figure out what you're looking for, and to give you advice for it's really the best part of the gig. So please, all my love to the Patreon supporters. Have a happy new year, everybody, and keep positive, and I can't wait to see what 2022 offers us. So that being said, I guess I'll see you all soon. Take care and goodbye.